Hey, what's up, everybody? Bonsoir. Welcome to Attaché Wine, your personal wine ambassador. You can follow me at Attaché Wine on Instagram, and this is going to be a home for your best wine recommendations, furthering your wine education, and even some dinnertainment, which, if you're not sure what that is, you got to follow the Instagram and find out. Episode 2 of What's Nick Drinking. We were in Australia last time. We're going to Oregon tonight. One of my favorite producers, Cristom Vineyards. One of my favorite wines. I'm super stoked. They are a biodynamic producer, which is like organic farming on steroids, let's say. It's like taking it super seriously and being super sustainable, making really clean wine. It's better for the environment. It's better for our bodies. So you're gonna feel almost like borderline healthy, when you drink this wine. And I drew the inspiration to pull it from my cellar tonight because a friend of mine in one of my favorite wine bars, West Coast Wine and Cheese, they're doing a virtual wine tasting with Cristom tomorrow night. So if you're in SF, you're in the Bay Area, you can actually get the wines delivered for free. You can purchase them. They'll bring them to you. You jump on the Zoom call that evening or whatever forum they're using. At 5:30 p.m. you can actually get led through the two wines, and from what I heard, it turns into a pretty big party on the call. So most of us are trapped inside on a Friday night. You might as well join in with the West Coast family and enjoy Cristom wines. So tonight's kind of like the preview, kind of get you a little bit stoked to join West Coast Wine and Cheese, to join their virtual wine tasting. So you can check in with them on Instagram at West Coast Wine SF, or I posted in my story yesterday, actually this morning. If you want some more information, hit me up. I'm happy to give you all the links. Sweet. So the wine. I actually got to know Tom Geary, who's the owner of the property, a little bit through my previous job, and he couldn't be more nice. He's an awesome guy, super hospitable. So that made me want to support the winery, and I went and checked out the wine. And I always really dig a wine when it has a specific component that's a really teachable flavor profile. And this Mount Jefferson Cuvee is one of them. This is about 60% from their estate, and then 40% they source from the sub-AVA, Eola, Amity Hills. So the wine is very distinctive because of that volcanic soil. It's going to give it that like kind of dirty mineral flavor. And then they are they're known as being a very minimalist intervention producer, very natural winemaking style. And so when I got this wine, I looked at it. It's typical Pinot Noir. You've got this like pale ruby hue to it. It's very vibrant red, and that ruby color. I'm expecting red fruits when I dig into the wine, which you get. You get that cherry note and that strawberry, and it's just fresh. Like you can tell it's really cool climate Pinot Noir. But as you're drawing it in, there's this funky kind of secondary note that's almost like bubblegum, or sometimes it throws like a banana type quality, and that comes from what we call in the wine biz carbonic maceration. It's a special type of fermentation that happens when you do whole cluster fermentation. So instead of pulling the berries off of the stems, you actually leave it all on the stems and throw it in a pressurized tank. The fermentation actually starts happening in the berry, and it just gets this very like candied bubblegum kind of flavor. So I was really stoked. I was drinking the wine, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is like carbonic!" Like it reminds me of southern France in Beaujolais. They do this practice a lot. And then I read the tasting note, and I'm like, "Oh, sweet! They're a natural winemaker, and they do whole cluster fermentation." So I was like, "Hell yeah, I guessed it." So I just gave myself a big pat on the back. I was super stoked. But anyway, so that's one reason why I would buy this wine, so you can kind of smell that character and get to know what carbonic maceration, whole cluster fermentation, what that kind of tastes and feels like, and see if you like it, right? If you do like it, awesome. Buy more of this wine, buy more Cristom. If you don't like it, then, maybe try some other producers. But this just has this perfect, like, dirty, like I said, the minerality kind of shows through, and it just muddies up all the red fruits that I'm smelling. I can tell this is really an Oregon wine. Even more so, another distinct character, this rose petal character, I get that in almost all Oregon Pinot Noirs. And it kind of plays into that what grows together goes together kind of thing. There's roses all over Oregon. It's a great place to grow roses. Portland's known as a city of roses. It just all kind of makes sense. So when I smell the wine, that rose petal is just perfect. And it's a great spring wine. Everything's in bloom. This is going to be a gem on your patio. Cool. So enough about the nose. Let's get into the taste profile. I'm getting now like the fruit's a little more stewed on the palate. The ripeness is coming through. So I could tell that this is not a European Pinot Noir. This is not from Burgundy. It'd be way more tart. There's a nice kind of full round ripeness that tells me this is New World. Along with the nose, this has got to be an Oregon Pinot Noir. The finish is super long. The tannin just kind of kisses. It's super soft, and Pinot Noir in general is really light. It doesn't give you that sandpaper feel in the mouth, that tannic grip. And that's another reason why the whole cluster fermentation comes into play, is because when you're fermenting on the stems, that adds a little bit of body and kind of bitterness and bite and grip to the wine. So it helps kind of beef it up and give it a little more shoulders, and I could feel that in the wine. And that's going to help it stand up to maybe like a bigger dish. Whereas maybe a lighter Pinot would be, maybe go with salmon or something like that. Maybe you would do fish, maybe chicken. With this, I can start to like play into some, I'm kind of craving some bacon with this wine. I think like some bacon wrapped dates would be really great. Tonight I actually had, instead of just having chicken, I breaded the chicken and gave it a little more fat and kind of bready note to the dish. And that it really went incredible with this wine. So I would recommend that. Let's see if I missed anything. I didn't talk about the oak. This is actually, Cristom uses some barrels from a producer that I used to work with. And so I'm happy to talk about the oak. I really did get a vanilla and caramel flavor from the wine. So they're using high quality barrels, and it obviously adds to complexity and adds fruit flavor, makes the wine worth a little bit more when you're getting more flavors. That cherry super persistent. I got a little bit of charred wood. And even like on the finish, it's kind of like there could be a red fruited tea. Like I got kind of this like lingering tea tannin sort of thing. That was really cool. And then framboise, kind of a strawberry note. A little bit of that candiedness, candied strawberry still came through, and then even the bubble gum was persistent on the palate. Yeah, so overall this wine is just so good. Like I said, it has some super unique, really like teaching kind of flavors that I would definitely recommend the wine, so you can pick those out. As far as finding the wine, definitely tomorrow, West Coast Wine and Cheese. You can get the wine, jump on the Zoom call, but if you can't make that, and you want to purchase the wine on the internet, wine.com, $34.99. I think that's a really, really great price. It's about what West Coast Wine and Cheese. I think West Coast Wine and Cheese is actually a little bit less than that. So if you order online, obviously you have to pay shipping. So definitely go to West Coast if you can. Vivino is the same price. Blackwell's retail in San Francisco, they have it for $30 if you want to head down there. If you're in Colorado, Molly's, that's where I got the wine, $32.99. And then if you happen to be in Napa or nearby, Gary's has it for $29.99, $30. So that's the best price I found. So if you find yourself in Napa, I know the tasting rooms aren't open, but Gary's has a great price. Well, that's it for episode 2. Cheers. Everybody have a good night and keep enjoying great wine.